Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today I am utterly, genuinely delighted to be showing you the new Registeel card from the upcoming expansion, Crimson Invasion. And there are two reasons why this new Registeel card is particularly exciting. Number one, we know we're getting Regigigas in Crimson Invasion. And Regigigas really does look quite fun, with a giant caveat. You see, Regigigas has a huge HP of 180. He does 160 damage, but the ability says that you can only attack if you've got Regice, Registeel and Regirock on the bench. That's how we knew we were getting them in Crimson Invasion, because otherwise that would be a really dumb ability. So, if Registeel, Regirock and Regice are good, then we can make a good Regi deck. Yay! But the other really important reason, Gardevoir is everywhere. Gardevoir just won the Pokemon Trading Card Game World Championships. Actually, I did a video about that as well. Check the link in the description. So right now, we really want some good metal types to try and take her down. So, Registeel, if good, could absolutely help. And of course, Regigigas, very expensive. Lots of energy means you get taken down by Gardevoir. But then again, if Registeel can counter Gardevoir, it really doesn't matter. So, with the preamble out of the way, let's look at the basics. 130 HP, pretty standard for a basic Pokemon. Retreat cost of 3 is big, but then again, you know, heavy ball. The metal typing, as previously mentioned, is really good for Gardevoir, and the weakness to fire is a little bit of a pain because these Volcanion Turtonator decks are not going anywhere, and Baby Volcanion Haynick will be very good against Registeel. And of course, resistance to Psychic is always a good thing, especially with stuff like Espeon and Gardevoir running around. So, the attacks. The first one, for a single metal energy, 30 damage, attach a basic energy from your discard to one of your benched Pokemon. Now, as always, we do need to wait for the translation for this, but do remember that you can look at the card, there ain't no metal symbol there. This means that it's basically the same attack as Yveltal, except it's any basic energy card. And this makes sense, of course, because if all the Regis are working together, then you'll need fighting energy for Regirock and water energy for Regice, so it makes sense that Registeel can build any of them up. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is superb. Now, you cannot attach to yourself with this attack, which is somewhat disappointing. But other than that, this is really, really good. Regigigas is a very expensive Pokemon. If you want to be rocking all 3 of the Regis, you're going to be playing 3 different energy types. So having the ability to accelerate some energy is really good. Not to mention the fact that we've seen this attack for literally years since the X and Y base set came out with Yveltal, and it's always been a really good attack. Yes, 30 is a little bit low, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there's not really very much we can do about that. We can add a choice band and you're hitting 60 against EXs and GXs, and to be fair, against something like Gardevoir, you will be hitting 120. But the thing I really love about this first attack, we've been saying that Gardevoir is weak to metal, but of course, Ralts is weak to metal and has 60 HP, which means turn 1 you're KOing a Ralts. Now, people could start playing this Ralts, which came out in Breakthrough, but then if you play that Ralts, you get easily one-hit KO'd on turn 1 of the game by Espeon. So there is a genuine chance that from turn 1 of the game, you can just be sitting there picking on Ralts with Registeel, and that is an awful lot of fun. But the second attack here is potentially more exciting. Metal, colourless, 90 damage. If Regice is on your bench, heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. Now, the first thing to point out here is the Regis are working together, which means that Regice is going to have if Regirock is on your bench, and Regirock is going to have if Registeel is on your bench. That's the only way it makes sense to me. So, having all of them is going to help. And then having all of them means you can attack with Regigigas. Really, ladies and gentlemen, I am loving the potential Regi deck here. We're going to have to wait to see what Regirock and Regice do, and I am slightly put off by the attack cost of Metal Colourless, but I do love the idea that you can do 90 while healing 30. In that way, it's kind of reminiscent of Lurantis GX, which is a fairly fun attack. But I just adore the way here, ladies and gentlemen, that you get a little bit of bonus healing, and of course, let's point out the most important thing about this attack. You pop a choice band, you're hitting 120, double it for weakness, 240, Gardevoir goes down, ladies and gentlemen. There ain't no more Gardevoir. Now, the fact that it's metal colourless means it's going to be very difficult to tech Registeel into any other decks. It's pretty much got to be in metal decks, or it's got to be in these decks that are playing kind of a variety of energy, or maybe multiple rainbow energy, but then playing rainbow energy to rely on this really does hurt with stuff like Drampa and Enhanced Hammer running around. Do remember that being a basic Pokemon, you can Ninja Boy into Regigigas, but you've still got to have the metal energy, which means in a Regigigas deck, brilliant. As a basic Pokemon to put into a Metagross deck, so you can be taking KOs with a basic, love it. This would essentially be if you can't get enough Metagross out early. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is for metal decks and Regi decks. It's not for any other deck. Now, the attack cost here is slightly upsetting at metal colourless, but of course we've got a bunch of options. What you could do is have 2 Registeel out, be using the first Registeel to be KOing things like routes, while attaching to a second one on your bench to bring up when Gardevoir comes out. Or, don't forget you've got Max Elixir here. So, this really is quite interesting in that, you can play a whole bunch of basic energy, and as long as there's one in the top 6 cards of your deck and Registeel is on the bench, you can accelerate an energy to Registeel in this manner. What could possibly go wrong? Well, there is one issue. I keep talking about this as a Regi deck. Well, Max Elixir is going to be awkward, because like I've said, you're likely to be playing Fighting Energy for Regirock and Water Energy for Regice, as well as Metal Energy for Registeel. So you could well hit the wrong energy off a Max Elixir. And you can do that once and it's fine, but you can't do it more than once. And then if you hit the wrong energy off Max Elixir, you'd better have a Metal Energy in hand to attach manually. As a side note, I know I'm using the Ancient Origins Regirock and Regice cards here, just because we don't have scans of the newer Regirock and Regice. You know me well enough by now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope, to know that the second those cards are revealed, they will get their own video. So, looking at Registeel as its own Pokemon, love the resistance, love the HP, love the first attack, and I love that it can get any energy. And the second attack of a Choice Band will one-hit KO a Gardevoir. And let's not forget that in the same way that Yveltal is a great starter for darkness decks I should say, and Volcanion is a great starter for fire decks, Registeel will be a great starter for metal decks going forward. Now maybe in Metagross you still want to play Alolan Vulpix to be getting out all of your other Pokemon, but this is still a great starter, and I am going to give Registeel 4 Wassies. I love this card. It is like Yveltal and Volcanion, but at the moment you're hitting a better weakness, and you can attach any basic energy, not just the specific type. For that reason, I absolutely adore it. But ladies and gentlemen, you've got to remember that we don't have the full picture yet. Regigigas is great, except for the huge energy cost, though Registeel helps with that. If Regice and Regirock are also good, and you can build a consistent deck with the 4 of them, we could be looking at a monster deck moving forward. Could be an awful lot of fun. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear what you think about Registeel. Chuck it down in the comments. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. That's where the live action happens. We're doing a PTCGO stream at 7 PM UK time on Thursday. Come on down. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods, etc., then head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.